Welcome to part 5 of our Silver Shadow cruise from Quebec City to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Our arrival today is in New York Harbor for an overnight stay. We were very fortunate to have the Manhattan Cruise Terminal at our disposal for our overnight stay in New York City. This made it very convenient for our Silver Shadow shore excursions, which the day one today would include a 5-hour bus and walking tour of Brooklyn. After a leisurely breakfast, we boarded our bus for our trip across the bridge to Brooklyn. It was a beautiful autumn morning, and we anticipated a wonderful visit to Brooklyn and New York City.
Buildings, and you will see little playgrounds, tennis courts. Even one of them has a little swimming pool.
Marla and I were very excited about this tour because we had never visited Brooklyn, and we had only been to New York City about 3 times before for brief visits. Our shore excursion was provided by the Silver Shadow, and our tour guide couldn't have been better. He was just a wonderful New York native and gave a wonderful tour of Brooklyn and the New York City area. On this crisp autumn morning, we were able to walk easily and listen to the guide as he explained all the many bridges and features of the Dumbo District and Brooklyn. After this introductory walking tour, we again mounted the buses and drove on a scenic tour of Brooklyn, where we had a stop and we were able to have some leisurely time to walk up and down the streets and see these Brooklyn walk-ups. drove through the Williamsburg district, where he pointed out the many sights of this particular neighborhood, and down to the waterfront area where we were able to obtain some scenic views of Manhattan across the bay. This 5-hour tour was certainly a delight, and an ability to see another side of New York City. We headed back to the ship via the bus.
What?
It looks good. Smells delicious. Dinner in Manhattan. Once again, a beautiful autumn morning awaited us as we were bound for the Central Park and the Metropolitan Museum tour.
Carlisle is very fancy. If you have a lot of money in New York, a hotel you'd stay at is either the St. Regis or the Carlisle. Lots of lords and ladies. That's where Princess Diana always liked to stay, in the Carlisle. I saw her there once. I was doing a private tour for a guy and his wife. They were the vice president of Delta Airlines and his wife. I was waiting in the lobby with the limo driver, waiting for them to come down. And the elevators opened. I thought it was my clients. It was Diana. Oh my God. She walked out, her blue dress, waved at everyone, and went out to her car. It was all very, one of those New York, I call that a New York moment. A snapshot of New York. So that's it. And yeah, JFK used to take his girlfriends there when Jackie was out of town. Speaking of that, Jackie's apartment is 10 blocks up. It's 85th and 5th. When you're at the front of the Metropolitan Museum, look across at all the big apartments, like a wall of limestone and marble. Look at the one that has big chimneys. That's 1045th where Jackie lives. She wasn't raised here. She was raised 2 blocks over at 740 Park Avenue. When she was widowed, she came back to New York to stay with her grandmother while she looked for an apartment. And she found 1040 Fifth Avenue. 15 rooms on the 15th floor with burial Candela's home. White blood building.
Yeah.
1964, she paid $286,000 for the 15-room apartment at the 1040 floor. And when she died, her daughter Caroline sold it 30 years later for $9.5 million. And the same apartment sold 3 years ago for $36 million. And it's not because it was Jackie's, it's because that's what a 15-room apartment in a fancy building facing Central Park goes for these days. Yeah, it's Candace Bergen also lives in 1040. I met a lady who lives there, and she says, Jim, we don't say 1040. That sounds like a tax form. She said, we say 1040.
This beautiful morning, Central Park did not disappoint. In all of its autumn splendor, it was before us, and our tour guide made it all the more special in pointing out all the various aspects of this beautiful Central Park.
Fifth Avenue is really a walk.
Unfortunately, that afternoon, after a wonderful tour, we sailed away. But the weather was glorious as we left this magical city en route to our next stop, Bermuda.
Get it with the sun.
Bye, New York. Day one in Bermuda was a shore excursion around the island, visiting many beaches and scenic spots around the beautiful island of Bermuda. This afternoon of the first day, we took a catamaran tour around the harbor, which is very nice.
Over 100 fishes. There's nothing reason why we use the houses. The average two-bedroom house fee is roughly around $1,000. City of London is about $100 a month. And we also make it really hard for foreigners to buy a house here too. So if you guys want to buy property here, you have to buy in the top 10% of the market, which is $8.5 million a month. On top of that, you can only stay here 6 months out of the year, and you have to keep $500,000 in a Bermuda bank account at all times. So we find most we don't even get that many celebrities that move down here, even they think it's a ripoff. But we do have a lot of the filthy rich who kind of don't care how much this costs. We have to
On the second day, we took a snorkeling tour, but unfortunately the weather turned very bad and it wasn't very good to mention, so I've excluded it from this video.